These are the practice tools that I use on a daily basis. Over the last 30 years of playing the violin, I've tried hundreds of different practice tools. These are the 11 that stuck. And by the way, I'm not affiliated with any product or company, it's really just what I use and what I recommend all our students in the Violinacademy. And number 11 is this very small and very special mute with gold. A mute is basically just something you put here on your bridge, and what it makes is that it makes the violin a little bit quieter. It really helped me improve my focus because it's not so loud, so I can better listen to what is happening and it's not making me so tired after practicing. And at the same time, it allowed me to practice more because I can just play at any time. But the issue is that when you do that with a standard mute, they distort the sound. So if I put, for example, this one, you will see that the sound is not so good. It just doesn't sound nice, and because of that, it's very hard to practice with this and it's not fun. But this one from the mute with gold above it just sound way better. Then the next thing I really love is this cleaning set from Lotus Mute. If you don't know, so a cleaning set is basically something to clean your violin. Maybe you're asking yourself why I should clean my violin. No, I don't care how it looks like. So the thing is that when you clean your violin, you will be really surprised how better the violin sounds after that. The first time I cleaned it with this, I was quite shocked. It just sounded way better and I didn't have to practice for it. And the first thing I do every time when I practice, by the way, after practicing, is just cleaning my violin with some micro fiber cloth, okay? And this one is from BAM, and it's really good. It's like, when you put it, it's like everything goes out. It's really amazing one. And then how it works for cleaning the violin, basically there is 3 phases. And that's why I really like this one, because they have really like different products. So the first one, it's just something to really clean the violin, because the problem is that when you play, the rosin go all over the violin. So that's what allows to really remove it. Now the next item on my list is an exercise book, the exercises from Tradiek. I studied really like hundreds of violin books, actually quite every book that was published between 1751 to today. And if I had to choose only one book for practicing, that would be this one book. Of course, if you're a complete beginner, my exercises from the Violin Pyramid Method that we teach in the Violinacademy will be more suited for you. But the reason why I really love those exercises, and I will show them a little bit now, is that they are super systematic. And by the way, if you're a beginner, we are organizing a free violin masterclass. You can register with the link below this video. The first exercises are only on one single string. We're focusing on mastering this one string, and with a strong focus on the 4th finger. And then a little bit later, that goes to 2-string exercises. Okay, so that you can practice string crossing. And then you go to 3 strings, and then later on to 4 strings. And you see all combination. And then that's where you start learning each position after another. Now, if you are a complete beginner, what I would advise is doing only the first exercise, but doing it on every single string. And this in different tonalities and different rhythm. Mostly you should practice them very slowly, just like that. And not in 16th notes like it is written. So now the next item is very common, but probably you're not using it the right way. So let me show quickly. So this is a music stand, maybe you have one. The main issue I see here is that most students have no music stand or one that is way too low. And what happens is that when they play, because they need to look at the music sheet, they play like this. And then the bow will go down the whole time. That's why what you want to do is buy yourself a high music stand, okay? And you can see this one, if I practice, should be actually its best if it's very high, like here. Because now, even if okay, it's a little bit too high, yeah. But if I'm playing, you will see that naturally I will look here and my violin will be high. Because what I discovered is that you practice way more effectively if you stand, but most music stands are actually developed for practicing when you are sitting, not standing. So now something super important is just having the right chin rest. So every violin has a chin rest. The problem is that most of the time the students don't test which chin rest is the best for them. It's like, we'll go somewhere and we'll just get you some random shoe that works for everyone. And because of that, what happened a lot is that the violin is not very stable, sleeps the whole time, and so on. what I didn't really recommend everyone to do is just to go to a violin maker and test with them every single chin rest. And the way I do that is basically first remove the shoulder rest and just see with only the chin rest that the violin is stable. That means that it can't move out. You can see for me it's stable. Some are left, some are in the middle. You should film yourself and see naturally if you are holding the violin like that or like that. Okay, if you are naturally holding the violin in the center, then you should get yourself a shoulder rest in the center. But if not, it should be on the left side. And then basically you should see that most of your chin on your head use the entire part of the chin rest. And it's best if it's a little bit curved and not too flat. That will make it easier to hold it. Then something that was super important for me and to a lot of our students is just this. So this is a chin rest pad. Basically, it just comes here on the chin rest, and what it do is that it protects your skin. Because for me, when I practice a little bit, my skin gets irritated very quickly, and then it's painful. But with this, you can just practice for hours. That's not an issue. And before I had the glove that I put, the thing is that with the gloves, it protected less actually, and it was just very annoying because it just sleeps the whole time. And because we are speaking of setup, the next item for me is my shoulder rest. I test a lot of shoulder rests, probably every shoulder rest, but the thing is that I was never happy with all the shoulder rests I tried. It always felt like unstable, sleepy, or bulky, you know. And so I went to a violin maker, tested all the model, and there was a new one, you know. That was this model from Pirastro. I was directly, whoa, that's so amazing, so stable, so light, and so on. And at the beginning, I don't wanted to test it because it told me it was 10 times more expensive than the other models. But anyway, it's really great. So the next thing I use every day is this KDM2 metronome. The thing is that a good metronome that's essential for practice. But the problem is that most metronomes are way too quiet. You can't hear them well. And by the way, if you don't know what a metronome is, it's something that allows you to give the tempo. That's very important to practice staying in rhythm, and we see it can do way more actually. Something else that works, of course, is that you could just install one on your phone, a mobile apps. But what I see, especially for a lot of my students, is that for them it's very distracting. Because then there is like some notification popping up, or just then they think, oh, I should answer something or look at my email or whatever. That's why I prefer just having a separate metronome and just hiding the phone, you know, in the closet. And something else amazing you can do with those is just you can play a background tone that's very loud, very clear for practicing the intonation. So I will just set up one note, like a A, and then repeat every note slowly on top of it. It makes it very easy to find the right note while practicing by hearing. Okay, so the next item is actually a mobile app, but actually it exists on computer too. And basically what it is, it's just an interval timer. If I want to practice for 30 minutes, I will set it up so that after 15 minutes it will sound to let me know that 15 minutes are gone, and then it will start automatically a second new timer for 15 minutes. The goal here is that instead of repeating the same thing over and over again for 1 hour, I'm really focused for 15 minutes, and then after 15 minutes, I practice the next thing, very focused for 15 minutes again. Here I set up the timer, and then I know, okay, in 15 minutes or in 30 minutes, it's finished, you know, it will alarm me, and so I don't need to worry about looking at the clock or so on. And now I want to show you something that could really change your life or do nothing for you. This is a very special rosin. A rosina, you know, that's what you put on the bow hair so that it can sound. And the problem with most rosin is that they make a lot of dust. And if you are a little bit allergic like me to pollen or to dust, it's make it super annoying to practice the violin. And I even know some people who developed a very strong allergy because of rosin. So, and this one is very good because it make basically no dust. So it's not an issue for me to practice with it and breathe it. You only need to put it like 3 times on the wall bow, like that, slowly, back and forth, you know, very slowly. It was not very good demonstration. And when I played, you will see there is really no dust. Or very little. Now the last, but something very important, is just which strings to use. Because cheap strings are very frustrating. Because they just sound bad. And on top of that, something very annoying, just that they broke very often. And then you need to replace them, but just frustrating. When someone buys a cheap violin, it comes with very cheap strings, and just by changing the strings, it makes huge difference. What I personally use and really like are the strings from Larsen, those one. And especially I take the one with gold, because I like gold. No, just kidding, because it sounds better on silver on the GD strings. And there are other very good strings, but my point is that it makes sense to buy strings that are a little bit more expensive.